may know me as the Aging Parent Expert from my site, endlesslegacy.com. The primary focus of this site is to show people with aging parents how to connect and relate differently than from how they've always done. This is the foundation of partnering with a parent and co-creation of a plan to anticipate and manage a parent's care needs as they continue to age. This process was born out of my own struggles with 3 parents and 20 years professional experience helping senior adults to plan, to manage their care needs, and to live with purpose their aging years. You may not know that my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia and lived with these diseases for 8 years. This was an even bigger challenge for me. As I had my Endless Legacy business, I had a spouse who had his own business and a married son with 3 sons, which were my grandsons. So my life was filled to the brim, to say the least. When I started Endless Legacy from scratch, people who were reaching out to me for guidance often had a parent living with dementia. And yes, parents living with dementia also need a plan. But more than likely, it is too late to co-create that plan. The situation that I found myself in when learning of my dad's dementia was very similar to the same struggles that people were reaching out were also in. There are 3 main areas of importance that people finding themselves in who has a parent living with dementia. The first one being how to handle and deal with the difficult emotions and sometimes behaviors and reactions of a parent living with dementia. Secondly, how to know the care options for someone living with dementia and how to plan for what will likely happen. And then third, anticipating the expectations of their parents' particular disease process was also a major concern. Because of these concerns and these needs and the guidance that these people, as I, needed when you learn of a parent's dementia, I created another site called DementiaDistressRelief.com. I knew personally how difficult this process was, how stressful, how overwhelming, just life-draining it could be. But I also learned and realized that it didn't have to be this way. I learned how people with a parent living with dementia could truly thrive and not just survive. Even though Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia are not reversible or curable at this time, I learned that with a little education and some learned skills that my life and my dad's life became a bit easier, and at times our lives were filled with joy. You may know that Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia are progressive. In other words, they get worse. So my education and learned skills was ongoing at each phase of the disease. I know that online there's a lot of information, a lot of good resources to learn about Alzheimer's disease and dementia. But I didn't have time in my life or space to do the research, to find out what I needed to know, when I needed to know it. But what I realized I wanted more than anything was to know someone who was going through the same things as I at the time and be able to talk to them and ask some questions. And yes, there were some family support groups in my area that met, but I didn't necessarily have time to go to a support group, or I didn't have anyone to stay with my dad when the group met. For all these reasons, with the dilemmas that I faced, and now that my dad has gone to heaven, my heart goes out to others in this life stage of caring for a parent living with dementia or Alzheimer's disease. I took the time and effort to create a place where people can get their questions answered on the spot and be able to be encouraged by other people who are going through some of the same things that they're going through. This all happens through my website, dementiadistressrelief.com. There are a couple of free downloads on that site where you can learn about the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and you can also get the 5 caregiver strategies to overcome conflict. These tools are there for you along with the blog, and I post numerous articles throughout the months that will help you in your everyday dealing with someone with dementia. Also, I want you to consider joining our free closed Facebook group called Answers for Adults of Parents with Dementia or Alzheimer's disease. This group allows us to support one another, but also answer questions not only from me, but from other people in the group who have maybe dealt with the same thing that your question is all about. So come and join us as we all learn how to thrive during this life stage versus simply surviving. We would love to have you join.